Hey, in today's video, I'm going to share 5 signs that you should raise your rates for brand deals. So if you're wondering how much to charge as an influencer, keep watching because I'm revealing these 5 signs plus an example of a current influencer rate card so that you can determine if your rates are in line with other influencers in your niche. So since launching my agency back in 2019, I've noticed that influencers often have 2 kinds of relationships with money. First is the rose-tinted one. So the more money they earn, the happier they are because they feel rewarded and validated for their work, which naturally pushes them to improve their skills and provide more value to brands. And the other is the, fear-based one. So no matter how much they grow their personal brand, there's an underlying anxiety that appears when the price factor comes into play. And so deciding on rates, raising rates, having the price conversation with brands and justifying rates just doesn't come easy. And maybe you can relate. But the thing is, being comfortable with money is essential to your livelihood as an influencer, meaning having a healthy relationship with money is important for you to grow your personal brand and bank account, right? But this can only happen when you start valuing your work and charging a fair amount without feeling guilty about it. By the way, if you're new here, hey, I'm Jay, and I'm the creator of 11th Street Studio Influencer Agency. If you'd like to join our private influencer community to partner with brands that are looking for influencers like you, click the link below this video to get on the VIP influencer email list. And if you'd like to learn about all of our full-length e-courses for influencers, including how to grow organically on Instagram, how to price your rates for sponsored posts, and how to negotiate partnerships with brands, click the link below this video to check out our private members area, where you can find all of the e-courses, resources, and a private community to chat with other influencers. Also, we're currently offering the first 500 members the chance to join the 49 Forever plan, meaning as long as you're a member, you can access all of the e-courses, full resource library, and private community for only $49 a month, even when we add more courses and that price increases, okay? So if you want to join at that price, enter the discount code 49forever at checkout. Just make sure that you join soon though, because new members are joining every day and that price will go away once we have 500 members, okay? So now is a really good time to get in. Okay, back to the video. So like I was saying, learning how to raise your rates, negotiate with brands, and price sponsored posts is super important for all influencers, but it's especially important for female influencers, and here's why. A recent report by IZEA shows that despite women being the majority in the influencer marketing industry, it's men who earn more from brand deals. So according to the study, men earn, on average, about 30% more than female influencers per sponsored post. Okay, and it goes on to say that in 2021, women accounted for 85% of sponsorships made as influencers. However, for the past 5 years, men have been the highest paid, despite having a significantly smaller presence in the industry. And to get a sense of this, the average amount paid to men per post was $2,978, which again is 30% more than what was paid to women. Now, with that said, in one situation, this scenario was reversed. In terms of prices, women out-earned men when it came to prices for Instagram stories. So in this scenario, women earned, on average, $962 per post, while the average amount paid to men was around $609 per Instagram story. Okay, so for the most part, the situation continues to remain unequal and reinforce gender stereotypes. And that's one of the main reasons why I personally launched my agency back in 2019 to help change this norm by teaching and supporting female influencers. So, to make sure these numbers improve going forward in the future, let's talk about when, why, and how to raise your prices so you can earn more with each brand deal that comes your way. Also, make sure to watch all the way to the end of this video to find out what rates influencers are currently charging brands right now in 2022. So you can decide for yourself if your rates are high enough. So the truth is, no one is going to magically appear and tell you it's time to increase your base rates. And truly, rates are unique to everyone, meaning it's really up to you to be aware of the signs that indicate it's time to give yourself a raise. So here are some of the common ones. Sign number one, you're charging the same rates as you did last year. And to be clear, remember, I'm referring to your base rate. So the rate you charge before you calculate in things like rush fees, seasonal fees, exclusivity, usage rights, etc. Okay, so keep that in mind. And like I mentioned in other videos, brands increase their budgets for influencer marketing every year. So if you're creating sponsored content for brands and you're sending over the same rates that you did last year, well, you may want to rethink that and raise your rates. Because here's the thing, influencers and content creators are consistently improving their skills, and in my opinion, more so than any other profession. So every month, they work with new brands from very different backgrounds, business models, and cultures. And with every new brand you take on, you bring your overall experience working with all the previous brands to the next, meaning you're helping them get results by implementing very unique strategies. And I think it goes without saying that the more you work on a skill, the better you become at it, and the less time it takes to do it in order to get really significant results. And so that's very valuable to brands. So I recommend you revise your rates either twice a year by, like a small percentage, say 5 to 10%, or once a year by maybe 10 to 20%. This way, you can keep your rates competitive with other creators and be confident that you're getting paid your worth as your unique value increases. Okay, on to sign number two. You're getting a lot of brand opportunities coming your way. So an inbox full of emails from brands really only says one thing. There's a demand for what you can offer. And the saying goes, when demand goes up, rates go up, right? So I think if you're in high demand, that's definitely a sign that it's time to raise your rates, especially if you're not getting any pushback when you share them. Okay, and that brings me to the next sign, which is you quoted a brand a higher rate than normal and they didn't blink an eye. Since there really is no one size fits all approach to pricing your rates as an influencer, often experimenting with rates is your best bet. So I personally raised my rates with each new brand deal as a food blogger. And I'll be honest, that strategy worked really well for me. And since incoming brands won't know your rates, you can certainly quote a higher rate each time a new opportunity appears in your inbox and just see how it goes. If brands pay you the higher rate without question, well, that's a really good sign that you can raise them. Okay, on to the next sign, sign number 4, and that is you've improved your skills as an influencer. So let's be real. There's always room for improvement, right? So improving your skills as a creator and adding more value can certainly justify a price increase. So if you've added impressive case studies to your media kit, invested in a mentor or an e-course to learn how to provide more value and better results for your brand partners, well, you've upskilled, and it's a sign that you should increase your rates. Now, this is also true if you've improved your photography skills, editing skills, and videography skills. Not to mention if you've purchased better camera equipment, new lighting, microphones, and editing equipment. It all factors into your rates as a creator or influencer. And remember this, the more value you uniquely offer brands and the more personal time you commit to partnerships, the higher you can charge. I mean, think about how many hours go into emailing back and forth with brands, brainstorming a creative concept, shooting it, editing the images, writing the caption, writing revisions, and scheduling everything to go live, and then hanging around to reply to comments and possibly even promote it elsewhere. Is it one day? Two? How many hours are you spending? Think about that and calculate what you're getting paid at the end of the partnership per hour. Trust me, that can really put things into perspective. So, for example, as a food blogger, I spent days researching and writing recipes, shopping for ingredients, cooking, testing the recipes, shooting them, editing the images, writing the posts, editing the posts, and then promoting them to all of my social media accounts and newsletter subscribers, okay? So you can see why bloggers can justify charging thousands of dollars per blog post, because aside from all the hours they put in, the amount of traffic these posts get is truly unbelievable. And those posts are discoverable on Google for years. So brands are 100% comfortable paying those rates. So by all means, track the hours you spend creating content to figure out what exactly you're paying yourself per hour to determine if it's a fair rate. And if it's not, don't be afraid to raise it. Okay, the next sign you may want to increase your rates is that your business expenses have grown. So over time, as your influencer or creator business grows, your expenses will naturally also increase. So maybe you need new editing software and camera equipment, or maybe you need to hire a photographer to shoot your images and an editor to edit them, or a videographer to shoot reels or TikTok videos for you, right? So if your goal is to create a sustainable lifestyle as an influencer, you cannot charge the same rates while your expenses are simultaneously increasing. Okay, so I always recommend you track your monthly business expenses so that you can always be on the lookout for changes so that you can easily justify any rate increases. Now, with that said, another reason to raise your rates is inflation. So regardless if your business expenses increase or not, your overall expenses will. I mean, there's really no denying that. And so in order to pay those inflated rates, you'll need to charge more for reasons that are quite simply outside of your control. Okay, that sums up some of the most common reasons to increase your rates as an influencer. Naturally, you'll also want to do so as your audience grows, but that really goes without saying, right? Okay, so keep these things in mind so that you can feel confident that you're always getting paid well, because the truth is, working with brands is a lucrative business, as you know from the numbers that I shared earlier in this video. Now, before I go, I want to mention one more important sign that it's time to increase your rates, and that is the location in which you live. So as you know, living expenses and housing prices vary by city. So brands naturally expect to pay influencers who live in Manhattan higher rates than someone who lives in, say, Austin, Texas. And this goes if you relocate to another city too. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's it for today's video. Before you go, make sure to click the link below this video to get the example influencer rate card so that you can find average rates influencers are currently charging brands so that you can determine whether or not your base rates are in line with the current market. And remember, a lot of things factor into play when it comes to sharing your rates with brands. So make sure you watch the other videos in my playlist, Influencer Contracts, to learn what you can charge brands for, say, usage rights, exclusivity, whitelisting, and more next. Okay, that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments how often you raise your rates. I'd really love to know. Also, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them as soon as possible. And of course, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.